Hello and welcome. Today I am back finally. I was sick, so I couldn't put out any videos, and I was still waiting on the results on the midterms. So this is my first thing I'm going to start with. So from now on, I'm going to be basically going over the results finally, and 2020 is what, 700 and something days from now. We're 2 years away. We're going to find out the Democratic candidates probably between April and July, most of the candidates. So that'll be very interesting. So in this video, it's Trump versus Bernie Sanders. So we're going to first look at the results of the midterms. Let's go to governor races in Texas. Texas was won by around 13% in the governor. In the Senate, it was around 3%. And in 2016, it was around 9%. So I think it's going to go around a 7.5% to Donald Trump. So this is likely. So there's 218 to 187. I think Ohio and Iowa would also move into the likely. I'll show you why. Oh wait, never mind. This is Sanders. So I would say Iowa would not. Ohio would though. So it not in the Senate, because even though this became closer than people thought it would. So in the House, every single district stayed the same. But in Iowa, 2 districts changed. And in the governor races, they both went for the Republicans again. In Ohio's governor, it was around 4%. And Iowa, it was around 3%. And in 2016, even though Iowa was a bigger win, it was around 9%. And Ohio was around 8%. And in the Democratic primary, it looked like who won it again? Hillary won it, bigger, but in Iowa it was a little closer. So I think Iowa could actually it would go into the likely column, barely, like around a 5%. And Ohio is probably going to go around the same margin, around 8 to 9%. So now it's 125 solid, 62 likely. Let's look at Maine's 2nd congressional district. Let's see, this is governor, so governor race. So around a 50.8 for the Democrats and a 43.2. But the independent got around 6%. Most of those, 5 out of those, not 5 out of those 10, 4 of those 5 would vote Republican, and 1 out of those 5 wouldn't. So I'm going to say 1% goes to the Democrats, 5% goes to the Republicans, so that's around a 48%. So that's expanded for Trump and Clinton. But I think that actually this should not be solid. So I would say this can go at least in the lean column. We're going to see which way it's going to go now. So let's look at the House race. So here, this was interesting to me because the Republican actually had more votes than Democrat Jared Goldman, so this could probably is going to change, but there's still 5% of the vote left around that, so it's going to be hard to tell. So this, I still see it going to the Republicans, even if it's Trump versus Sanders, and Sanders is better with the white working class than Hillary Clinton. So I'm going to say this is going to stay in the lean column. It's close to going into the likely column. Virginia would move into the likely. Let's go to the Democratic primary, even though Hillary got way more votes there. But I think that this is actually really hard to say because Trump kind of got it very slim. You know what? This can stay into the lean column because it's not a huge appeal to Bernie Sanders. But okay, so this is around a 6%. Two areas had flipped. The Northern Virginia, which is expected, and which these both areas were run by Hillary Clinton. And the Senate race, it went to Tim Kaine around a 15%. And yeah, it was him and the governor. So yeah, this looks like it's gonna stay around in between the lean and the likely. So this could really go either way. I'm gonna put in the likely. Colorado's good and Nevada's good. Nevada, I don't think would go over 5%, but it could come close. I think around 4%, and Colorado around 4% as well. Colorado's closer to moving into the likely, but I don't think it would. In Nevada's 2nd district, let's go to the House. Let's look here. So even though it went to the Republicans, it was very narrow, and it went for Trump around a 5 to 10%. It's showing a shift there, but it looks like it probably would go very, very slightly. Even though Bernie Sanders did do really good in this area. Okay, I guess you can't zoom in. Yeah, you can't zoom in. Well, you can, but you have to do this. Okay. Let's see does it show how much it went last time? So actually, the Republicans did better there this time in the House race than last time. So I actually can see Trump winning this lean. Close to likely, so probably around a 4%. So now Sanders with 216, Trump 189. What are some other states that can move? I'm going to say this Maine at large. Maine at large is probably going to be in the lean column because, there's a lot of Trump is really good with. Trump is really good with getting out the vote in Maine. It was a huge shift from 2012. Like, a lot of these areas became very close. And Obama won it around a 15%. So this was a huge surprise to me during the race. Even though Ted Cruz actually did a lot better there than Trump. And Bernie Sanders did really good. So I think it would go around a 4.5% to Bernie Sanders. So now we're at 218 to 189. So let's go to New Hampshire. New Hampshire in 2016 went to Hillary Clinton by 0.3%, around less than 3,000 votes. Trump won this every single area there, and so did Bernie Sanders. In the House race, both areas were won by the Democrats. It's not a change. In the governor race, it went to the Republicans. So this looks like there's no change, so this will nearly stay into the Democratic area. I see this because it's also the Northeast Bernie Sanders did really good there in the primary, but so did Trump. But I think it's going to be one of those key races to watch, and I think Bernie Sanders could edge it out. So now we have Bernie Sanders at 222 to Trump's 189. Let's head to Georgia. Let's go to the governor race. This was interesting too. It was a lot closer than I had thought. I thought it was going to be at least a 2% win for Brian Kemp, but it was 0.5%. In the House race, one seat had flipped. And in 2016, it was won by Trump a little over 5%. I think 6% actually. And in the primary, he won almost every county but the Atlanta, and Hillary Clinton won every area there. So I don't know if Bernie Sanders would do super well there, even though he could probably get out the African American vote there. I think he could stay in the likely column very narrowly. So we're at now 205 for Trump and 222 for Bernie Sanders. Let's go to North Carolina. North Carolina has been reliably Republican in the last two races. Well, actually 4 races. Only one of them it went to Barack Obama, but that was because of a lot of stuff that happened in that election. Trump won it nearing 5%, and in the midterm, in the House district, nothing has changed, and it did not have a governor race. In the Democratic primary, Clinton did a lot better than Sanders there. So I think this could actually go to Trump again by around a 4.5%, slight expansion there. So now we're at 222 for Sanders, 220 for Trump. In the state of Florida, the Democrats has picked up 2 seats there, but in the Senate, Republicans picked it up by around 12,000 votes, and in the governor race, the Republicans held it on by around 0.4%. In the presidential race, Trump won it by around 1.2%. And in the Democratic primary, Hillary Clinton won it by a lot. So I think this will go to Trump again. So now this is getting close for Trump to 270 electoral votes. He's got 249 to Sanders' 222. Let's go to the state of Arizona. Arizona had gone for Doug Ducey around a 15%. That was huge in the governor race. But in the Senate race, Krista Sinema had beaten Martha McSally around a 1.7%. I didn't think it was actually going to be that much. That would be less than 1%. So, in the House race, one seat had flipped. So this does indicate that there is shifting demographics here. But this is also it was Martha McSally's seat. So that's very interesting. Also, Krista Sinema was a really good candidate to run there, probably the best one. And in the primary there for the Democrats, Bernie Sanders did not do good. But in the Republican primary, Trump did pretty good. Ted Cruz had won, these 2? Is that one? I think that's 1 district, actually. So, yeah, this is going to stay in the Republican column. Trump is now 10 electoral votes away from being reelected. Bernie Sanders has not flipped anything yet, but he has brought down the margins in some states. Let's go to the state of Minnesota. Minnesota is very interesting. In the Senate race, the Democrats had won both seats, and even the special election was larger than expected. It was expected less than 7%, and it was won by 11%. In the House, Republicans flipped 2 districts, but Democrats also flipped 2 districts. And in the governor race, Democrats won it around 11%. In the presidential race, Hillary Clinton won it around less than 2%. And Bernie Sanders did very well in the primary there. And you could see through here too. So I think this will go to the Democrats in the lean column by around 4%. So an expansion for the Democrats there. So now we're back where Hillary Clinton was at. And there's 3 states left. These are the most important right now left. Trump only needs one of them to win. Sanders would need all of them to win. So let's go to the state of Michigan first. Michigan's going to be very interesting. Sanders did very, very well there. He had won most of the suburban districts, and Clinton won most of the Detroit area. But Trump had won also a lot, even the Detroit area. So, and also in the presidential race, Trump only beat Clinton by 0.3%. Sanders edged out Clinton, so I think this could be edged out. Another way I could show this is in the House race, 2 seats flipped. In the governor race, it also flipped. So this is the first flip in the race. So now Sanders is 248 to Trump 260. Let's go to the state of Wisconsin. In the state of Wisconsin, Donald Trump had won this around 0.7%. It flipped in the governor race, in the Senate race, it's say in the Democrats region, and in the House race there was no change. So in the House race, that's a good indication for Donald Trump. In the Democratic primary, it was also pretty good for Bernie Sanders, edging out Hillary Clinton, but also winning every county almost. So this one is very hard to tell which way it's gonna go, but through the governor race, I could see this flipping as well. So now we're at 258 to 260. There's one state left, Pennsylvania, determining this election. In the state of Pennsylvania, a lot of seats had flipped around, Republican and Democrat, more Democrat, but there were areas completely won by Hillary Clinton. In the governor race, it stayed in the Democratic column, and in the Senate race, it stayed in the Democratic column. So there was no change, basically, in Pennsylvania. In the primary, what is it? Bernie Sanders had edged out Hillary Clinton there. Hillary Clinton did better in the Philadelphia area. Bernie Sanders did. It's very close. So, but then Donald Trump won every single county. So I'm going to call it for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been reelected with 280 electoral votes to Sanders' 258. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Tune in for my next episode after this, and possibly one on Friday.